Hi, Jacob here. I've talked to a lot of families over the last few days who feel uncertain about school closure, testing, and admissions. So I decided to make some videos covering each of these topics, and I'll be putting them up along with articles I've written and some helpful resources on the testguy.com. This is the first video where I'm addressing the educational issues caused by the coronavirus, particularly campus closure. Now, in short, colleges are much better prepared than high schools, and college students are much better prepared than their high school counterparts. Now, it's true that high schools and high school students are doing more work online than ever before, but the schools lack the infrastructure, and high school students lack the self-structuring experience to make a smooth transition out of this abrupt change. For both high school and college students looking to move to the next level, this has added uncertainty into a time replete with it. The students I've spoken with are wondering when they'll be back on their campuses, when life will get back to normal, and most importantly, how the coronavirus will affect their way forward to college, their way forward to graduate school, or their way forward to a job. I've spent a lot of time over the last decade working with students who are pursuing part or all of their education online. And I've noticed the same set of problems crop up over and over again. But I don't want this to be a cautionary video for two reasons. I think you guys get enough of that, particularly the high school people. And two, I don't think they work. I want to focus on how to turn the problems, the limitations of online learning to your advantage. As Marcus Aurelius, the famous Roman emperor / philosopher, wrote, "The impediment to action becomes the action. What stands in the way becomes the way." So I want to address 4 problems that you can leverage into opportunities for personal and professional growth. The first is a lack of structure. College students and most of you high school students know this feeling where it's Sunday afternoon, you haven't really started the paper that's due at midnight or first hour tomorrow, and you can feel it down in your diaphragm and your chest feels hollow, and it's even harder to get started because you're afraid of it. Most of you manage to get the paper done, but you end up squeaking out a grade lower than what you could have gotten otherwise. More importantly, you're emotionally spent. And so you need time to kind of recover, and that puts you back in the cycle of putting things off and then sprinting to a substandard finish. People repeat this year after year, semester after semester, and those people are reacting instead of acting. You're letting your courses put you into crisis mode because you aren't taking command. I had a student who once analogized it to training a dog. Fundamentally, he said, the dog's going to need the same stuff. But if you're proactive, your life is easier. You spend less time taking care of the dog. And the dog is much happier. Everybody has a different way of getting things done. And for the most part, I don't think any particular system is better than another. It's the act of creating or choosing and then following a system that's important. Eventually, you'll want to tailor it to yourself. Keep what works. I don't care if it works for somebody else. If it doesn't work for you, throw it away. Discard what doesn't work. In the article linked below, I've listed a bunch of resources that I think can help anyone from hyper-organized to completely unorganized. Here's the real advantage for you. This is an opportunity to work without a safety net. Explore what works best for you, how you can structure your day, how you can learn best. I really believe this, that the most valuable lessons you can learn are about how you learn, how you function. Those have the most utility long term. Second thing I want to talk about is communication. Communication with your professors is going to be less than you can't raise your hand, can't grab them after class. And by and large, your professors and teachers will be less accessible. This is probably going to be somewhat more stressful than usual because the situation is very, very fluid. And everybody's going to have their own response. Misinformation will also be all over the place, and you'll be wondering how to get good information and how to get help. This is a great opportunity to practice professional relationships and how to manage professional email correspondence. Focus on being deliberate in your communications. And what you'll find is that the more organized and better prepared you are, the fewer questions you'll have. You'll also be FaceTiming likely or video conferencing your teachers at some point. Now, the third thing I want to talk about is resources. For the most part, college students are used to this drill. They have their slides from lectures, handouts, syllabi, and so on online. But for high school students, this will be a bit of a jump. High schools are unprepared for a closure of this length, and many districts, most districts, lack the talent and the agility to respond quickly. It's likely that most of you high school folks will be using Google Classroom or something similar. And how quickly that your teachers will be able to create meaningful educational material to supplant live instruction is going to vary greatly, probably even by the school. Furthermore, college students have the syllabus, and high school students generally don't. Now, the syllabus provides college students a linear framework and timeline for the course. If high school students don't have this, it's probably been thrown out by the closure, where college students can reasonably assume there'll be relatively minor adjustments, at least on the timetable. The advantage here is that you can work on your agility and being nimble and having the adaptability that your big clunky institutions lack. Where live instruction is missing, use YouTube, use discussion groups, use your friends, form study groups on FaceTime, Skype, Google Hangouts. Find supplemental materials from other schools, other districts that appeal to you. Make sure you combine approaches. Flashcards by themselves, not that helpful. Reading textbook by itself, not that helpful. Videos by themselves, not that helpful. Combine multiple things together, and all those fingers will make a fist. Remember, if what you're doing is not working, then you need to try something else. Now, if you're stuck and your teacher or professor cannot help you, you aren't alone. Again, go back to those interactive or quasi-interactive resources like discussion groups, FaceTime, Google Hangouts, or you could get a tutor. But this is a great opportunity to learn that you can learn tough stuff without the parental style figure of a professor or teacher. It's also a good time to learn when to ask for help and who to ask for help. Now, if you really need some extra help, we're offering some limited academic tutoring during the day. You can contact us in the link below. We talk to everybody for free. Boredom is the last topic, loneliness. I have some experience with this working from home with my coworker being a dog. You're going to be stuck at home for weeks with your family to keep you company. Now, you can most certainly Snapchat, TikTok, Netflix, Twittergram your days away, but you're going to find that gets boring. And after it gets boring, you'll realize that you're dependent and that you don't know what else to do for yourself. If you had a spring activity that's been canceled or delayed, then try working on that. Do some conditioning for sports. Practice your forensic stuff. Do some acting exercises you find on YouTube if you were in the spring musical. Or pick up something new. Try yoga. Learn to cook. Learn to carve wood. There are innumerable gratifying and meaningful things that you can use to fill your time. And even if you try half a dozen things and don't like any of them, you'll be much happier having tried them than if you watched Friends for the 10th time. Again, we have an article down below that has resources and more information on all these topics. If you're in need of academic or test prep tutoring, you can also contact us through our website or in the direct link below. My closing thought is this. At the end of the day, life is always about change. And we can always choose to turn the changes thrust upon us to our advantage. Remember that taking care of yourself is more than just washing your hands. Thank you for watching, and best of luck.